Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Mid-Atlantic Mauling League. It is opening day today. We have game number 2 of 4 tonight to open up the season here in the Chaos Cup week number 1. We just saw Norse versus, I've already forgotten, Elven Union, Pro Elves. And we're going to see something a little similar, but not really. We're going to see here in game 2, the NC Snakes versus Nerdrum's Nosecount, Move versus War Horsemen, Dark Elves versus Norse. Let's take a look at the standings in Division C before we take a look at these two teams. Kaleshi, thank you so much for the kind words. I appreciate it. 27 teams have registered for this Chaos Cup, this opening competition of the season. We have 3 opens and an invitational at the end of the year. This is the start. This is when you start to build up your team, get that TV, and be where you want to be at the end of the season. 9 teams per division here in Division C. We're going to see Moob's NC Snakes, a Dark Elf team, versus War Horsemen's Nerdrum's Nosecount. They're a Norse team. Also in this division, no stranger to the league, no stranger to the game of Blood Bowl, is Doug the Minotaur and his Dinner Bell Darlings making their return here. Kevin Bacon is back. It's a Dwarven team. Venger also returning to the league here. Imitation Skaven and Nathan, they're a human team. Hooray! The second human team. Well, third human team in league history. Con Kills Entanglements, Imperial Nobility team, they're in this division as well. Tizzle Bizzle back with the Tizork Savage Boys and Orc team. Old Gamer Mike, the Goodest Boys, strike back. They're a Necro team here in Division C. Clypheus, Season 2 champion. Odin, it's Nuffle, a Norse team here in Division C. And of course, Electric's Man's As Bad as Raiders, they're an undead team here in Division C. SB Beaver says, have we had more halfling teams than human teams? Maybe? Old Gamer Mike says, this is the biggest poll so far, right? Yep, this is the biggest competition we've had yet. 27 teams. Tonight, the home team's gonna be NC Snakes. NC Snakes coached by Moob, TV value of 1 million, 11 players on the roster, just the 1 dedicated fan and 2 rerolls. We'll talk about that dedicated fan right before the game starts. This is a Dark Elf team. As an Elf team, they have an Agi 2 across the board. Has 3 of the 4 Blitzers, has 1 of the 2 Witch Elves as well. You can see the Dark Elf team, the resilient team. They have an AV of 9+, same for these Witch Elves, as opposed to 8+ that we saw earlier today, as we'll see on SP Beaver's Wood Elf team as well. So much more resilient, very fast, very agile. They don't start with a lot of skills though, just starting with 3 of those 4 Blitzers, meaning just 3 players with the block skill and only 1 of the 2 Witch Elves. Gonna be up against this Norse team. We saw Norse play in game 1. We're gonna see a little bit of a different team composition here out of War Horsemen. They're also coming to TV of 1 million on the nose, 11 players on the roster, also 1 dedicated fan, 2 rerolls. Nobody's making any money tonight. No Valkyries on this roster. 2 Wolfwarners, has 2 Berserkers, and then picked up the Yeti, the big guy. And we'll talk about them in just a minute. BP knows us more Norse news. I think it's going to be a very interesting game tonight, and that's because look at the 2 teams, right? So we have the this away team here. They have they're pretty brittle, right? AV 8 across the board, tons of block, tons of frenzy. And then that Yeti, Strength 5 Yeti, has a Frenzy, so rolling 4, maybe 6 block dice, and Claw. Claw normally not a factor on an Elven team. It is tonight. These Elves of the Dark Elves here of the NC Snakes, their AV is going down to an 8+ instead of a 9+. That's a big difference. So the NC Snakes up against this Yeti, the Yeti can be a big problem. Up against a lot of players with Frenzy and a lot of players with block. That can be a problem as well. I think the Dark Elves probably don't want to base up against this Norse team. The Dark Elves, however, their advantage is their speed and their agility. They're very fast, they're very agile. You base them, maybe they 2+ away, maybe they mark you with a player, and then someone else just heads for daylight. So I'm not so sure. And they're more resilient than the Norse, right? The Norse at the 8+, they have the 9+. I don't think the Norse team wants to base up against this Dark Elf team either. So this is going to be a very interesting matchup, I think. I think Moob probably very concerned about all that block, very concerned about that Yeti, and is going to try to dance around these players. And conversely, War Horseman has a lot of skills, has the advantage on the block dice, But if he takes a hit, he's going down, right? 8+ is just not a lot of armor. There's a world of difference between 8+ and 9+. So probably doesn't want to base these players either. So it's going to be a chess match out there tonight where both teams are repositioning, looking for that key blitz to open up a play where they can really take advantage of it. The defense tonight, of course, if they can get that player advantage or pull a player out of position or take a player off the pitch where they can maybe cut the opposing team in two and then really get aggressive, that could be an option. The offense going to play it cool, going to play it back, going to see how the play develops. Not going to give up too many blocks to the opposing team because then their offense is going to collapse. I think this is going to be a very, very tactical match tonight. One dedicated fan, I think, is a problem for both these teams, and that's because they're just not making a lot of money. Right? This is how you make money now in the BB 2020 rules. Maybe not so bad when you're up against a team that has 5-6 dedicated fans. When you have one yourself and you're up against an opponent that also has one, you're not making any money. So that could be a big problem going into week 2. I mean, not a big problem, but a significant problem. Wait, that's a synonym. You need money. If you take anything away from tonight, you need money. All right, we'll see how this Dark Elf team plays tonight. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe one of these teams does get super aggressive. I'm a little sad there's no beer boards. That's okay. That's okay. I'm a little sad. Berserker Tempest says, in this economy, just 2 rerolls apiece as well. That means they're gonna have to be pretty conservative, not super conservative, but they're gonna have to be a little careful with where they take their die rolls. I think both these teams want 3. I think maybe a Norse team might even, I don't know, might even go 4. That's a lot of money to put in a rerolls. I'm not sure, but 2's a little scant, so you have to be a little more conservative. You can't take a risk here or there. You want to save those for when they really matter, probably later in the half. So we'll see how the 2 teams play here. This is game 2 of 4. I'm very excited to see this game go down, mostly because I haven't seen a lot of Norse play. I haven't seen a lot of Norse play in the new rule set. I'm very eager to see how they play. BB Nuts says Norse need cash too. They have expensive positionals who die a lot. Yes, indeed. You'll see that SB were playing what elf team? I believe SB was first Edge team. Maybe not the first Edge. No, SB were fielded Amazons at some point. But Wood Elves are very expensive. Are very, very expensive. Looks like clear skies for this game. I don't know if it shows you the weather during this pre-roll or not. Can't remember. Santa's Swarm. What was Santa's Swarm? Oh, that's right. The batter bowl. Right. Speaking of, you know who's made a return. We'll save it for the second half of this game, but game three, baby. Hey, a very important person in league history making a return. No inducements whatsoever in this matchup. 1 million TV apiece. Here's the coin toss. Nosecount's gonna win the kickoff. They're gonna choose to play defense to start. Let's go, spoiler. I'll give you a hint. It's the very important person is not a coach. It's a player. I mean, the coach is important too. Currently 4 on the line, 1 wide for Nerdrum's Nosecount. Pulling this defense up shallow against this Elven team. It has to be a little careful. They do have a speed advantage. against the Norse team. Norse team is not a slow team. They have MA6. But the Starkov team's going to have the speed advantage in those blitzers and that Witch Elf with the MA7. Old Gamer Mike says Bacon. Bacon also making a return, just not tonight. Shallow defense, giving up the sidelines here. Doesn't want to see a Witch Elf turn 1 surf. Berserker Tempest says, is it Barbara Streisand? Nope. 5 on the line for the Snakes currently. Black Mamba, the #1 Witch Elf, back to receive. Currently 2 in either wide zone, 5 on the line, and a halfback in Taipan, the #11 lineman. Hank the Ranger says Kevin Bacon is not a fan favorite. Here's the kick. The Yeti with the kick. Uh-oh, an officious ref. An officious ref does not like Rat. Absolutely doesn't like Rat. Rat stunned on the pitch. Turn 1 underway. The Snakes are going to move Taipan over to the right. Cover the gap. Getting some protection on the ball. Good action order here. Taking the safe actions first before rolling dice. 2-die block on the left defensive end. Gets a POW out of this. Looking for an 8+. Remember, too, that the linemen now on the Norse team, they're all drunkards, which means they fail rushes on a 1 or a 2. That's a huge difference. BB says, like the NFL, do you have a script for the season? Any spoilers? Dizzle Bizzle says, but Kevin Bacon has natural swagger. Yes, he does. Double pals on... Oh, Tom Zarek's back! This time as a Norseman. Double pals on Tom Zarek, but no armor break. Tom Zarek, everybody's favorite not Cylon, gets a push against Chariot of Discontent, Aludrin, the #9 Norse lineman. 2+ pickup by Black Mamba works out. SP Beaver says, Tom, I am not a Cylon's Zarek. Turn 1 for Nerdrum's Nosecount. Maybe that says I didn't vote 3. Neither did I! Setting up a column in the right wide zone. The Thing, the #5 Berserker on point. 2 columns now covering the right side of the pitch. Flavor says, you looked up how to pronounce all my players' names again? I have no idea what your player names are. I did not. I haven't a clue. BB says, you know it was always the Cylon in the board game, the president, every time. 2-die block by the Yeti, gets a POW here. 8+ is going to break armor thanks to Claw, but doesn't get it. Had to follow up due to Frenzy. Last time we played BSG, I can't remember who this... We had an exposed Cylon with the Cylon leaders, and we had... I don't remember who the other Cylon was. Who was the other Cylon? It might have actually been Tom Zarek. I think it was. Nerdrum's Nosecount retreating the left side of this defense. Yeah, BSG is an absolute blast. Battlestar Galactica was the first licensed board game that made me think licensed board games could be good. Tizzle Bizzle. Yeah, BSG is Battlestar Galactica, the board game. It was made by Fantasy Flight Games back when Fantasy Flight Games was a juggernaut. Retreating with the ball carrier, as you do. Yeah, we can see not a lot of interaction here. Or I shouldn't say not a lot of interaction, but neither team really wanting to base up with the other team. Grave Mistake, welcome to the stream. Yeah, so BSG is it's a hidden role game where at least one person is a Cylon, and the idea is for the humans to get to where they're going, and the Cylons to prevent that from happening. So you have a hidden Cylon, and then halfway-ish through the game, you might have a person who thought they were human realize they're also a Cylon. So it's a ton of fun. It's super fun, and just the game mechanics are really cool. Like you vote on things, and like you have to do these actions, and you put cards into a shared pool. Oh, here's a foul on the Yeti. Try to get rid of this foul. Ah! No! Trying to get rid of the Yeti early. Blackwolf82, thank you for thank you very much for the sub. Got called off the pitch. Of course you did. Oh my goodness. Oppo absolutely spent. Yeti injured instead. Trying to get rid of that Yeti. I think that was a very good call. One of, if not the biggest threat on the team, now taken off the pitch permanently, at least for this game. SP Beaver, thank you very much for the bits. Yeah, that is huge. Huge removal. Well done by Moob. Second opinion works again. This time, though, the doctor's like, all right, you're not dead. You're just really, you're hurt pretty badly. But don't worry, you're not dead. DBNet says, I used to love being a Cylon, getting a new Caprica as the Admiral, and then jumping the fleet before the civilian ships could jump away. Yeah, so these mechanics in this game, it's really good. It's you can put in cards, and then you reveal the cards, and it's like, who put in the card that hurts us? But also, like, if you're a Cylon and you stay hidden, and you're in a really important role, like there's like a chain of like who can be president, who can be admiral, and who can be the CAG. And like if you're an admiral, you have access to the nukes, and you're a Cylon. It's huge. Just at one point in the game, you're like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, we're all dying. Sorry, guys. Blitz in the left wide zone. 2-die blitz gets a push out of this. Frenzy follow-up coming up. 2-die frenzy follow-up. Got the knockdown. 9+ will break armor here. Hank Ranger says, can you schedule my game versus Warhorseman for next week? No. PBNet says, we had one game, neither Cylon revealed themselves and the Cylons won. It was so tense, but so good. Yeah, I love that game. I love it so much. My favorite tabletop genres are deception games and negotiation games. I love them very much. I have a game that I'm going to there's the World Board Gaming Championship in the summer. I'll be bringing a game to the World Board Gaming Championship. It's called 1817. It's part of a genre called 18XX. It is very loosely a train game. There are trains involved, but it's really an economics game. Or I shouldn't say economics. It's a financial game. 2-die block here against the number 9 lineman. 8+ is going to break armor. There's the armor break. Good stun. But it's about running public. It's about being a robber baron. So running publicly traded train companies, and then embezzling money or manipulating the stock price. So anyway, each one of the games in the genre does something a little different. Another armor break. Well done. 2 good stuns here. Open up mid pitch. So each game in this genre kind of do things a little differently. They're mostly the same. This one focuses on the financial aspect. So you can buy companies, sell companies, merge companies, liquidate companies. You can sell a stock short. You can there's all sorts of shenanigans you can do. So one thing you might see somebody do is So the object is for you personally to become rich, not the company. It doesn't matter how much. It doesn't matter if you run a company well or not. What matters is how much money is in your pocket at the end of the game. So you'll see people like build up a company, and then someone else might run some track like right between two cities so they can never connect, and then tank the stock price, and then they'll sell all their shares, tank the stock price. Someone else becomes president of the company goes under, and then the president has to pay all the loans off. Brilliant. I think my favorite negotiation game is a game called Sidereal Confluence. It's just pure negotiation. It's awesome. You can set up crazy. You can set up like a 4-way deal. It's like, I will give you this if we have a contract for, say, futures, and you give me this over the next 4 rounds, provided that he's going to give me this, so long as I give him a cut of what I generate based on what you're giving me. Things like that. Those are the types of games I like. Failed 3+ dodge here. Probably going to let this rock. We'll see. Spends the reroll, repositions. So down to 1 reroll for the half. Turn 4 now for the NC Snakes. They have the ball on their own 6-yard line. Nosecount doesn't want to remain marked, doesn't want to give up those blocks, repositions their defense. Playing sort of an elven defense here with the columns. If you're new to the game of Blood Bowl, what the columns do is, let's say I want to move through here. I could say blitz this guy, right? And now I'm free. Well, no, because when you set up the columns, there's still another guy you have to get through. And when you set them up, 2 spaces apart, there's nowhere to go. So even if you blitz one of these players, you don't have a lane open. That's the point of the columns. Clivey says Corporate Contract Lawyer Simulator 2025. So you joke. But one of the a video game that I like a lot that I've been getting into a lot again because there's a new DLC coming out. It's called Capitalism Lab. It is basically just an economic simulator. It's just business, like, it's economics. It's economics as a video game. And I like it a lot. Dude-Eye Blitz against the number 4 Norse Berserker Moranian Terror. Gets a POW out of this. Remember, just an 8+ on the armor value for these Norse. They're not wearing a lot. No armor break, though. BBNS says, I love Twilight Imperium, but can't justify that much time for a game. I love Twilight Imperium, too. In fact, I just received in the mail from, I think, Lithuania, a very nice print. FFG has these codices that are like extra content that they didn't sell at retail. And there was somebody who makes really nice printings of them, of the codex content, and I got that recently. And he did a great job. Turn 4 now for Nerdrum's Nosecount. Final turn of the first quarter. Elf team carving out this left wide zone, and now the Norse team trying to reset here. They don't have the speed advantage, remember. Tizzle Pizzle says, indeed, the Norse have a great elf screen going on. They do, or at least did. It says Risk 2210 that came out like 20 years ago, the new version of Risk I'll play. Risk, but for Wargamers. Randomly has its first expansion out next month. So there's a version of Battleship I've always wanted to play. It's called Battleship Galaxies. I don't have it. That would be the only version of Battleship I would play. But it looks kind of neat. There's some Nosecount on the back foot here. Trying to reposition this defense to get in front of the ball carrier. Black Mamba, 1 space away from scoring currently, but can certainly hand this ball off. And now he's taking some marks. He doesn't want a free handoff to score. The alternative here is to force a score early and then try to get in and tie the half 1-1. That's awesome. I love them. I have a game group. We're supposed to get into 30K or into Epic, and I haven't put my models together yet. I feel very guilty about it. I really got to do it. I really got. SP Beaver says, "What team cheerleaders are those?" That's got to be Necro. Fails the 3+ here. Spends the final reroll to get in a position. Takes a second mark on Garter. Ball carrier currently free and clear. The thing! Don't trust him! Don't trust him, he's a shapeshifter. Gets back in position, trying to fall back into the secondary here. Everyone retreating, trying to get in front of this ball. Good eye block on Copperhead. Gets a push. Frenzy follow-up into the 1-die block. Gets a push. Second quarter begins. Turn 5 now for the Snakes. They have the ball on the opposing 6-yard line. They have an opportunity to score. BBNet says, also, Heat Pedal to the Metal has its second expansion out in a couple of weeks. Best game I've played this side of the pandemic. I've wanted to try it. I don't have it. I have a friend who owns it, but I haven't played it. I just bought, finally. So I really like a game called Nemesis. It's a co-op game. I'm not usually a fan of co-op games. But I like this a lot just because it's really thematic. It's basically Alien, the board game. And there's another version coming out imminently, which is Aliens, the board game. It's basically the third. It's Nemesis 3. I never bought the second game until recently. I bought it this week, in fact. So I'm eager to try that too. Berserker Dev says, Nemesis, I got everything except the third one. Yeah, I got Aftermath. I haven't played that yet either, which is like a epilogue to the first game. Dude, I block on number 7. Gets a push out of this. Yeah, it's a co-op-ish. It's a co-op where you can't trust your teammates. Clive says, Pandemic Legacy is one of my favorite games ever, but since 2020, I haven't had a lot of desire to play a game with Pandemic in the title. I played all 3 seasons of Pandemic Legacy over, I don't know, like a 2 or 3 month period recently. And if I never play Pandemic again for as long as I live, it'll be too soon. I love Pandemic. It's a great game. But boy, that was too much. Double pals here against number 2, but no armor break. Treats with the ball carrier. Black Mamba on the 4 now. Trying to keep the protection in check. Not trying to score just yet. Two-night block against number 10. Gets a push out of this. PBS says, I liked Legacy 3, which would be Season 0. The spy theme really worked. I liked it too. I think our group decided we hated Season 2. But only until late did we realize we were playing it very incorrectly. So it might actually be really good if we played it correctly. But I think Season 0 is probably my favorite one. Armor break here. Wow, high kick to the face. Gets a stun. Taking the blocks. Getting these Norse players pushed aside. Trying to get the removals. 8+. Remember, it's not a lot. It's not linear. If you think of dice, there are... if you think of dice. If you have 2d6, and I say roll a sum of a 7, there are many more ways to roll a 7 than there are, say, a 12. So now if I say roll a 7 or less, right? Roll an 8 or less, or conversely an 8 or higher. You can see that it's like a bell curve of options. So it's not linear. Like the difference between AV 8 plus and 9 plus is let's put it this way: the difference between AV 8 plus and 9 plus is a lot different than the difference between, say, 9 plus and 10 plus. Who needs math when you have Nuffle? Like it says, for me it was season 1, 3, and 2. I mean, season 1's like reveal was cool. It was a lot of fun. Nerdrum's nose count on defense. No rerolls remaining. Trying to keep these columns intact in front of this elf team. Has to be a little careful with the offset columns. You can get yourself in a situation where when you're diagonal, you tend to visualize it as if you have columns this way, but you don't. You can end up with a corner that is maybe off kilter, and now I've got a lane to get through. Should I follow up on the frenzy? Gets a knockdown on Garter. Breaks armor. There it is. Good injury. One-man player advantage now for Nerdrum's nose count. That's the advantage of frenzy, right? If you can roll more block dice to get that knockdown, that can be a very powerful thing. The thing you have to watch out for, of course, is the frenzy trap, where maybe you start with a 2-die block, you have to follow up, you take another block, and now suddenly it's a 2-die uphill. Math and gore. What crazy person thought that'd be a good combo? Jervis Johnson did. Like he says, probably not going to be hard to dodge out of there, but any dice are always some level of risk. Indeed. Indeed. You always want to make your opponent roll dice that he doesn't want to roll. 2-die block gets a pal here on the number 10 lineman to the right side of the defense. Gonna get the 8 plus he's looking for. Armor break, but that's fine. Even a knockdown with no armor break can be very strong. It costs 3 MA to stand up, and MA of 6 means on number 10's next turn, they're effectively only going to have 3 MA of movement. This is a big hindrance for dwarfs. Nobody likes facing off against dwarfs. They're very, very, very strong. But when you knock down a dwarf, he's going nowhere. MA 4, you knock him down, he has 1 point of movement. Elves shifting to the right side of the pitch now. Carved out the left wide zone. Now trying to carve out the right wide zone here. Good dodge to get to safety over on the right side of the pitch. Generally speaking, edge dice, you want to roll as few as possible, including 0. And block dice, you want to roll as many as possible, provided they're not uphill. I count uphill blocks as minus dice. Turn 6 now for the Norse team. Elven team using its agility and its speed to just move back and forth, trying to keep the defense 1 step behind. Cleffy says, look, I'm getting to roll 3 dice. Why are they all red? Norse team considering their options carefully here in turn 6. Just need to try to stop the score. The Elves do have a bit of an advantage here. They've set themselves up into a position, as you can see. If this Norse team keeps moving back and forth, the Elves are always going to have a leg up. Because what they're going to be able to do, you can see, he sets up the screen, moves the ball in a little bit further. Sets up the screen, moves the ball in. So this Norse team is going to have to find a way to stop, not only stop the run, but try to close down the other side of the pitch somehow. And it can be tough. All right, the Norse team, now they're taking marks. They're saying, you know what? You've got 2 turns left. I don't want you to score. Go ahead and take your blocks. But you're not going anywhere unless you blitz. We'll see if that pays off here. Remember, again, this Norse team has the AV disadvantage, but they do have the skill advantage. Two-die blitz gets the knockdown on Korn. 9+ to break armor here. No armor break. Claffius makes a good point. Also, if they take blocks, they might fail them. Indeed, you make your opponent roll dice, even if they're good dice. There's an inherent risk to that. There just says, if you just kill all the elves, it's problem solved. Indeed. Gets a mark on the Witch Elf with the Ulfwerner here. Aquitaine, the number 2 Ulfwerner. Turn 7 now for the Snakes. See if they try to score here in turn 7 or not. Deathblow, welcome to the stream. Says these are AV 9+ elves, so you're not going to kill many. Yeah, that's right. This is the elf team with the standard armor. Two-die blitz gets a push on the Thing. Number 5 Norse Berserker. I have been drawing on the screen. I have a player fly out for the Yeti, but he's out of the game now. You know what? Let's do it. Let's roll it anyway. There we go. Looks like going to try to score here. Fail the rush. Going to spend a reroll. Or is he going to park outside the end zone? Yeah. Good score. It's the pumpkin ball. 1-0. Very well played by Moob. Well, he no longer has to prove his existence. 9 on the pitch for the Dark Elf team. That's going to be that way for the rest of the game, unless they lose some more players. They're not going to have any more than 9. Like he says, always risky. Taking his rushes to score almost worked out badly. That's right. Anytime you roll dice, there's a risk. Deathblow says, I honestly don't take Yeti on my Norse team. It's just TV bloat. I think it's not a bad... Like, in this matchup, I think that was a real risk to this Dark Elf team. Moob recognized that early and said, I'm fouling you. I'm taking you out. But that is also something to consider in general, not just this Yeti, but in general, big guys are often inherently unreliable. They have some sort of nega trait. That means they have to roll a die, and if they fail that die roll, something bad happens. Either they lose their action in tackle zones, or they have to beat up a player or eat a player or something. So it can be real difficult. Nick Satan fielded an Ogre team one season, and that is the most unreliable of the unreliable. Solid defense. Rolled a 3. Wow, on solid D. Gets to reposition 6 players, 3 plus a D3. Flavor says, didn't he have 0 team rerolls on the Ogre team as well? I don't remember. They were fun to watch. They're a bad team. Dude, I block on Coral Reef on the right side of the line. Gets a push here. Two-day block on Rat. Gets another push on the line. Nose guard's all that's left. Corn, the number 5 lineman, gets knocked down on a POW. Good armor break. It's a KO. We'll see if that will stick for the second half. Electric Man says, chefs are terrible people. I just want that out of context. 49 seconds left in the turn. Here's the blitz on the right outer linebacker. Gets a knockdown thanks to the block skill, and there's another removal. Significant player advantage now for Nerdrum's nose count. A 3-man player advantage. BB Nut says, oh, okay, I can have the Dark Elves next week. Go ahead for the pass. Wow. Passes to Tom Zarek. Tom Zarek is already actioned, though. So I don't think he has anybody in scoring position. So got the SPP on number 6. 1 SPP for the pass, for the completion, I should say. T-Dye blitz in the right wide zone. Gets a knockdown on the thing. 8+ to break armor. BB Nuts asks, are there 2 Dark Elf teams in this group? No, there are not. BB Nut asks, what's Connor playing? Connor is a Dark Elf team in a different division. Defense shifting to the right, but I think in turn 8 here that this Norse team's just gonna take a pot shot on an elf. BB Nut says, this isn't my group, is it? It is not. I'm tired in my defense. Me too. I'm exhausted. Minute 25 seconds left in the first half. Nerdstrom's nose count looking for a blitz somewhere. They almost certainly won't risk the foul. Here's the blitz. Two-die blitz into a pow. Didn't need the frenzy follow-up. Can he get a removal? Oh, yes he can! My goodness, what a series of turns this has been. And another pass for some SVP to show off. Very well done. Got the kill. 1-0 at the half. And Nerdrum's nose count will be on offense to start. Rough week one for this Dark Elf team. SP Beaver says, this is a bloody first week. I'm terrified. Yeah. Kill the elves. Defense down to just 7 players on the pitch versus 10. It's a 3-man player advantage in favor of the Norris team. Back up to a full complement of 2 rerolls for each team. Here's the kickoff. A lineman, Tom Zarek, and an all-foreigner back to receive. Here's the kick. Rolls another 3 on the D3. So 6 players. He only has 5 to move. Can move 1 space. Ball gets kicked to the 14-yard line, and now second quarter begins with Nerdstrom's nose count on offense. First block on the line, just 3 on the line. Naturally, gets a pow on Rat. Another armor break. Oh my goodness. Gets a stun. KO didn't stick, thankfully for for the NC Snakes. Coming up after this game, scheduled for 10:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Do I have that right? Yeah, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. It's UTC -5. That's about 50 minutes from now. We're going to have Philosopher's Song versus the Pip Stars. That's a lizard mirror match between Spire and Dead Fred. And then our 4th and final game of the evening will be scheduled at 11:15 p.m. this evening, Eastern Standard Time. That's going to be the Gutterballs versus the Fishy Fiends. El Nubarino versus Ajax. That's Orcs versus Chaos Renegades. Nerdstrom's nose count, going for the blocks first before securing the ball. It could be a little risky. But the blocks worked out. 4+ on the pickup, excuse me. Doesn't work out. Probably just lets this rock. Doesn't want to spend the reroll on this. That'll be a turnover. Turn 9 coming up. We'll see if Tom Zarek can catch it, but he cannot. It could scatter back into the hands of number 2. I shouldn't say scatter. It's bounce. He did spin the reroll. Spent the reroll. Got the catch. Tom Zarek in possession of the ball, but still going to be a turnover. So turn 9 back to the NC Snakes. Nerdstrom's nose count down to 1 reroll for the game. They're down 0-1. I wouldn't have spent the reroll on that. I just would have let that go. I don't think there's I would have I would have been fine with it on the ground. But I also I think maybe if the ball's on the ground, I set up some protection, right? Maybe something like this. Then I take my blocks, right? Then I come in and pick up the ball. And that way, I've moved players first. They're guaranteed to move those. I get my blocks. If those work out, great. If not, ball still protected. Finally, I go for the more risky thing is picking up the ball. That's a 50-50. If that doesn't work, leave the ball on the ground, still protected. Protection is for the weak. Three-man player advantage? Yeah, three-man player advantage for Nerdrum's Nosecount. They're down to one reroll. They're in possession of the ball. And the first order of business is to move the ball forward up to the line of scrimmage. They're now on their own 2-yard line. Position some protection. Looks like they're going to set up a 4-point cage. Hey, Grish says, hey, we drew on the screen. Someone's about to die. Electric Man says, picking up the ball is next to impossible. Tell that to El Nubarino, who is playing tonight. El Nubarino played Tomb Kings one season. You want to talk about the impossibility of picking up the ball. 1 minute left in the turn for Nerdrum's Nosecount. That's right, they have a quote-unquote thrower. Hey man, when you're Tomb Kings, what do you need to worry about the ball for? Just murder the other team and then casually walk the ball in. Granted, it'll take you 8 turns to get there, but regardless. Electric Man says, I'm not familiar with Tomb Kings. Also called Camry. High or low, very low agility, high strength team. Four mummies would be crazy town. What's the movement on Tomb Guardians? Is it 4? Yeah. Not super fast. But not Mummy. Not Mummy 3. Armor break by the Witch Elf. Gets a stun out of this. Black Mamba, also known as the Bride. 2-die Blitz gets a both standing result against the number 3 Ulfwerener here. Oh no, he doesn't. He has the block skill. Well done. Well done. Just because they're both blue doesn't mean they're both block. Turn 11 now for the Norse team. Taking their time. They have a significant player advantage here. But even with 4 players removed from the other team, it can be a little scary to try to win this game. If he wants to score early and then try to recover the ball and score again to win, you're up against elves, right? They're fast, they're agile. They in this matchup, this elf team, this dark elf team, that doesn't have a significant speed advantage over you. So maybe playing for the win is an option, but if that's going to happen, it needs to happen soon. The Ragnoff, welcome to the stream, says, I just started with Blood Bowl 3. Is it realistic to grind out the warp time to get the additional team races? It is. Yeah. If you play on the ladder regularly, You can get it. I would argue you can get it no problem. Well, when I say no problem, I mean understanding it's incentivized for you to pay. So, yeah, you'd have to play a lot, but it's not, what's the word I want? It's not like other games, like free-to-play games or something, where like it's virtually impossible to do. .22 seconds left on the clock. Nosecount setting up a cage at center pitch. It looks like they're going to park this ball on the opposing 2-yard line. Two-die block gets a pal here. 9+. Turn 11 for the Snakes. Very cautious play here by this Norse team. Lots of players ending up marked. King's Rule 77, welcome to the stream, says, aren't there also like quests? That's like a new thing. Yeah, there's something like playing games with certain rules or something. I think it started with the Halfling release. Oh no, failed the dodge here. We'll probably spend this reroll. Yeah. Or not reroll, has the dodge skill to reroll it. Yeah, it's on like the play tab or something. I don't think I like the Norse dice. I don't know, they're hard to read. Two-die block, two-die stand-up blitz, I should say. In the game of Blood Bowl, there are a few actions that are once per turn, and you can see these at the bottom of the screen here. That's what these 4 icons are here. You have blitzing, fouling, you have passing, and handoff. So you can only take, if you blitz with a player, you can't blitz with any other player for the rest of the turn. Blitzing is basically moving and blocking all in the same turn, but the blitz, or the block, takes 1 point of movement to do. Two-die blocking collateral damage gets a pal. Really wants an armor break here. I mean, everybody always wants an armor break. Profile tab, I see. Gets a push on number 6 on the right side of the ball carrier. That front corner of the cage just knocked down. Front right corner of the cage just knocked down. Defense trying to apply a little bit of pressure here with what few players they have remaining. If they can stall the ball out, they win. If they can recover the ball, they'll be in great shape. Turn 12 now for Nerdrum's Nosecount. Takes a mark behind the number 4 blitzer. Remember, only 3 blitzers on the roster so far. Dark Elves can field up to 4. I think they're very, very important. I like to have all 4. I'm playing a human team this competition. I take all my blitzers because I think they're just that They're just that important. Like MA7 with the block skill, same with the human team. I mean, that's huge, in my opinion. Nerdrum's Nosecount positioning some players on the right side of this pitch. It looks like they're going to try to carve out the right side of the pitch, but they have to be careful with all these marks. These marks could lead into blocks, which could lead into a blitz, which can expose the ball carrier. Did I block back at the line of scrimmage? Gets a pal on Corn. Has to follow up with all these Frenzy players. That's another risk with Frenzy. Often, you really want to have the option of staying put or following up. You don't have that option with Frenzy unless you blitz. So you could blitz with a Frenzy player, you're forced to follow up, and then you could use your remaining movement to back off. But otherwise, you're always following up, and so you really have to take that into account with a Frenzy player, especially on a roster like this where you have 5 Frenzy players. Like, it can be a little difficult to keep your formation in check by eliminating that movement option from your team. Final turn of the third quarter. NC Snakes trying to stop the score. Nerdrum's Nosecount taking a play out of this Dark Elf playbook, shifting to the right, setting up their protective cover, but it is marked currently. That's fair. Electric Man says, just block people who have Fend. Yeah. Fend, unless they choose not to fend, I suppose. But Fend's a skill in the game that disallows your opponent from following up. All skills, again, if you're new to the game of Blood Bowl, all skills are optional to use unless the skill explicitly says otherwise. For example, Frenzy explicitly says otherwise. But Fend does not. So you can choose not to use the skill and give your opponent either the option or the mandatory follow-up. Stand firm is another one that you'll see situational use. Like take root is very much not optional. Another failed dodge here. This time without the dodge skill. Spent the reroll, failed the dodge on Snake Eyes, and got KO'd for his. El Numerino, thank you so much for the sub. I appreciate it. Thank you very, very much. Welcome to the stream. War Horseman in pretty good position here to at least draw the, well, really kind of running out of time if he wants to win. Looks like he's playing for the draw, though. If so, this will be our second draw of the season. 2 games, 2 draws. But don't count this Dark Elf team out just yet. They still have players on the pitch. 6s happen. I've been playing the board game version of Metal Gear Solid, and it is very good. It's also a co-op. For as much as I say I don't like co-ops, I've just described 2 of them this evening. But it's very good. It feels like Metal Gear. They've done a really good job. It is a slavish recreation of Metal Gear Solid, story and all, but I appreciate it. Snake! 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 Did I have lock on Taipan? Gets a push out of this. Or gets a knockout out of this. No, decided on the push. Decided on the push. Now got the armor break. Well done. Old Gamer Mike says playing for a draw if you can win is sad to be better than losing. It is better than losing. Clive says, did we fail a mission? What happened? So, if you've played Metal Gear Solid, spoilers for a decades-old game, but there's an enemy called Psycho Mantis, and when you play the video game, Psycho Mantis is like, he's a psychic, and one of the gimmicks is it reads your memory card. It's like, oh, you like to play Castlevania. But one of another armor break here. My goodness gracious. One of the, I have not played KDM, Old Gamer Mike, no. One of the things you're expected to figure out is that Psycho Mantis is reading your thoughts, and every move you make, he always dodges. And that's because he's reading the inputs on your controller. So if you don't figure it out, after a long while, a character will come through your radio and say, like, Snake, he's reading the inputs on controller 1. Plug the controller into port 2. So in this game, there's a book of like narrative, radio frequencies that you can look up. And in the Psycho Mantis battle, you get to it, and Campbell's like, Snake, he's reading your controller inputs. Try plugging the controller into port 2. And Snake's like, Colonel, this is a board game, not a computer game. There's no controller. And Colonel Campbell's like, dang, there has to be another way. What is happening? My goodness, armor breaks for days. There are 4 stunned elves on the pitch. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, there are 5. 5 stunned elves on the pitch. Moves. I thought you said Norse were more fragile. Yeah, another failed dodge. Someone hasn't been praying enough. Gets through it with the dodge skill. Yeah, just run away to safety. Get away, Black Mamba. I would have ran all the way down here. That's what I would have done. Just leave. Ragnar says, ouch, about $50 to get all the season pass teams. Yeah, that's the reality of gaming these days, unfortunately. I like fighting games, and it's very similar. It's like, oh, there's a new character. That'll be $8, please. It's like, oh, all right. Tom Zarek's going to park right outside the end zone on turn 14. And needs to get some tackle zones on that player. Or it needs to get some tackle zones between the Witch Elf and the ball carrier. Elden Runa says, compared to how many quarters I dumped in the Street Fighter 2 back in the day, DLC isn't that bad. That's a very good point. I spent so much money in the arcades. 3-die blitz on Black Mamba, but no armor break. You can't keep her down. I mean, you can knock her down. Turn 14 for the Snakes. Three effective MA for everyone, save for Black Mamba. She'll have 4. Do you just gonna play on? Oh, right, good call. I apologize. Yeah, she has jump up. So jump up, she didn't have to spend the 3 MA to stand up, so she'll have her full 7. Electric Man says, I remember seeing all the rich kids with their quarters. Oh, no. No, I mean, yes, but that was the nice thing about fighting games was winner stays on, right? So you put your quarter up on the ledge, wait your turn, play your game. If you win, you get to keep playing. Dude, I stand up blitz against number 11. Gets a knockdown out of this. I very much miss the arcades. Very, very much. There's an arcade near me. I was very excited. For a while, they had like a whole... They had like a candy cab set... like sit-down cabinets for probably 24 fighting games. And I have watched over time as it is over the years as it's slowly dwindled down to... I think they have 3 cabs now. A Street Fighter 6, a Street Fighter 5, and like Capcom vs. SNK 2, I think. But 2 of the cabs don't work, and the other one has the sound turned off. It's very sad. Turn 15 for Nerdstrom's Nosecount. Might think about scoring here. They still have a reroll. We'll see if they take any risks with some blocks first. Nope, they're just going to score, tying the game 1-1. Well done by War Horseman. Jar! That's what I imagine he says. So I think that's 2 turns left? Yeah, 2 turns left for this Dark Elf team. They can certainly score in 2 turns. 10 on the pitch for the Norse team. It'll be 7. 7 on the pitch for the Dark Elf team. Electrics Man says, I remember when the miniature arcade games came out, I had a miniature Donkey Kong game. I had none of those, but I lusted over those. I loved those. I had a friend that had, I think, Pac-Man. And I understand as an adult that the technology was not, you know, it's not like a cell phone or something. But it was so cool. Like, I loved those things so much. I would love them today. Like, they were so clever. Like he says 10v7? Yeah, 10v7. Festoon says, it's not crazy, but my sons play the original N64 I got as a kid back in 98. I think that's really cool. I think it's cool. War Horseman on pausing the game. Fair enough. I think that's super cool. You know, if I had kids, I'd love that. I have a buddy of mine. He built a cab for one of his sons, and we play fighting games. We play classic fighting games all the time. Whenever I'm over his house, his son and I will fire up Marvel vs. Capcom 2 or something, or Street Fighter, and I think it's great. Elder Marina says, not many memories better than pitching in with some friends to get $20 worth of tokens because you got a bunch of extra and spending the day playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, X-Men, Golden Axe. Amen. Oh, I miss the arcades so much. It was so cool. It was just like I was a fighting game player. I mean, I played all those games too. But like just going to the arcade, knowing everyone, you know, having some friendly competition. And like if you're good, again, you could go in with a quarter. And you can play all day. I just thought that was so cool. I loved it so much. Just having a place to talk shop and all the sounds and it was so fun. And even the stuff that wasn't fun, like I remember lots of games I'd play and like my opponent doesn't really know the game but like is trying to show off to his girlfriend or whatever. I love the arcades. Coming up right after this game, we're going to have game 3 of 4 this evening. It's going to be Philosopher's Song versus the Pip Stars, a Lizard Mirror match between Spire and Dead Fred. That's scheduled to start at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That's about 23 minutes from now. Oh, that's right. I said I was gonna say what the reveal was. That's the reveal. It's the long-awaited return of Pips Pippy. Yeah, I have a Neo Geo Big Red in the basement. It's really cool. I love Neo Geo. Pips Pippy is, oh, you don't, oh, don't feign like you don't know. Everybody knows Pips Pippy. Iron City says, I remember ruling some sit-down 3D tank game for a few hours. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of fun, right? I really liked a game. It's a fighting game. I guess it's arguably a fighting game. But there was a Sega game about giant robots fighting each other called Virtual On. And my arcade had the big 1v1 sit-down cabs for it. Oh, I love that so much. I have every Virtual On game on my PlayStation 5 because they released in Japan anyway. They released a collection of all of the first 3 Virtual On games, and then they came out with a 4th one to my surprise. It was like a cross between some anime that I'm unfamiliar with called A Certain Magical something. The video game was called, and I might be translating it wrong, I'm not sure, but the video game was called like A Certain Magical Virtual On. And it was Virtual On, so I liked it a lot. Turn 15 for the Snakes. 2 turns to get on the board. Did not get a timeout or anything. Although I think at this point it would be... Oh, no. With the new rules, it would be an added turn. Clifey says, don't quote the Pips Pippy to me, young one. I was there when Pips Pippy's legend was formed. 2 turns to get on the score, to get on the board and win this game. We'll see if the Snakes can pull it off. In order to pull it off, they're going to have to end this turn in scoring position. Got the extra movement here on the kickoff event table. Here's the blitz. 2-die blitz over in the right wide zone. Got a push out of this. I think he's just going to have to live with it. Push him off to the sideline, not follow up. Oh, he has to follow up. Frenzy. That's fine. Gets the surf then. Well done. 1 player off the pitch on the right side. Right wide zone is going to be where the play is made, it seems. One point of movement left for Black Mamba. Probably wants to get off the sideline. Will he endeavor to rush? Doesn't need to. He's currently in scoring position even if pushed back. But now it's about some protection. Copperhead probably going... Ooh, good pickup. Good pickup. Handoff to Copperhead. Failed the rush. Going to spend a reroll. There it is. Good handoff. Copperhead to move down pitch into the half cage. Can the Snakes pull it off here in turn 16 coming up? Still a few players left to move. Back on the bonus clock with over 5 minutes to play here in the turn. Failed to dodge. Oh, scary, scary, scary. Final turn for Nerdrum's Nosecount. Spire says, I was warned if I injured Pips that his fan club might storm the field. That is true. That is a true statement. Four Horsemen taking a mark on Black Mamba. Got to get aggressive on this ball, otherwise has a lot of ground to cover to stop the score. Here's the blitz. 2-die blitz gets a push. Frenzy follow-up. Frenzy follow-up into the 2-die. Gets the removal here. And we'll get a player marking the ball carrier right in front. Still not enough, though. Still not enough. Ball carrier can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I counted that right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1 GF or 1 rush to score if he comes out. If he comes out down here. Could also just hand off. Moop says the blitzer that failed the dodge was supposed to mark him. Yep. I feel it. It's especially frustrating when it wasn't even like a high risk dodge. It was a 2+. Clive says, I tried to kill one of Ava's players who dared to injure Pips. Yeah. War Horseman had to come in on the rear here. It's gotta force some die rolls. Turn 16. Can the NC Snakes make it happen? Dare to dream. Plenty of time on the clock. 1:50 on the regular clock with another 5 minutes, 7 seconds left on the bonus clock. No rerolls remaining for the team. It's a 1-1 tie. Does this game end in a draw, or the Snakes going to be the first win of the season? Tizzle Bizzle praying to Nuffle. Spire graciously lowering the rush failure rate from the Games Workshop to a paltry 99%. SPB, thank you for the bits with the emergency rush warning. Boot Polish says, maybe you went to the famous Saurus dodging school. The famous Nick Satan Saurus dodging school. Moob. Taking their time, trying to figure out the best way to do this. Two-die block, gets a pow. Still alive. Number 9's going to be knocked down. Push him to the side more than likely. Doesn't want to spend any more, doesn't want to spend any more movement to move. I don't think he has it. So no handoff. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's the first dodge. Is this dodge blitz? Is he going to have the... Oh, he took it here. He took it here. He can follow up. He can follow up. Gets the knockdown. So the follow-up's basically a free move. Almost there. 2+ dodge, another 2+ dodge. And then 2 rushes. Why was that a 3? Oh, because he's dodging into a tackle zone. Failed the dodge. Good effort there. What a way. I think that was probably the best way he could have done it. Didn't work out. Failed the 3+ dodge. This game is going to end in a draw 1-1. Very well played. Holy moly, what was that? And with that, the NC Snakes and Nerdrum's Nosecount are going to end this week in a draw. They've earned 1 point and are currently at the top of the standings We've got game 3 coming up in about 3 minutes. So I think what I'm going to do is I'll just kick it over to the countdown for 2 minutes, and then we'll get right into this next game. So see you back here in about 2 minutes.